Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 3, Book 34, number 386. Narrated by Abu Saleh Az Zayat. I heard Abu Sa'id al-Khudri saying, the selling of a dinar for a dinar, and a dirham for a dirham, is permissible. I said to him, Ibn Abbas does not say the same. Abu Sa'id replied, I asked Ibn Abbas whether he had heard it from the Prophetess or seen it in the Holy Book. Ibn Abbas replied, I do not claim that, and you know Allah's Apostle better than I, but Osama informed me that the Prophet had said, there is no riba in money exchange, except when it is not done from hand to hand, i.e. when there is delay in payment. Volume 3, Book 34, number 387. Narrated by Abu al-Minal. I asked al-Bara bin Azib and Zaid bin Arqam about money exchanges. Each of them said, this is better than I, and both of them said, Allah's Apostle forbade the selling of silver for gold on credit. Volume 3, Book 34, number 388. Narrated by Abdur Rahman bin Abu Bakr. That his father said, the Prophet forbade the selling of gold for gold and silver for silver except if they are equivalent in weight, and allowed us to sell gold for silver and vice versa as we wished. Volume 3, Book 34, number 389. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Apostle said, do not sell fruits of dates until they become free from all the dangers of being spoilt or blighted, and do not sell fresh dates for dry dates. Narrated Salim and Abdullah from Zaid bin Habit. Later on Allah's Apostle permitted the selling of ripe fruits on trees for fresh dates or dried dates in Bay el-Araya, and did not allow it for any other kind of sale. Volume 3, Book 34, number 390. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Apostle forbade muzabana, and muzabana means the selling of fresh dates, on the trees, for dried dates by measure, and also the selling of fresh grapes for dried grapes by measure. Volume 3, Book 34, number 391. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Apostle forbade muzabana and mahakala, and muzabana means the selling of ripe dates for dates still on the trees. Volume 3, Book 34, number 392. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet forbade muzabana and mahakala. Volume 3, Book 34, number 393. Narrated by Zaid bin Thabit. Allah's Apostle allowed the owner of Araya to sell the fruits on the trees by means of estimation. Volume 3, Book 34, number 394. Narrated by Jabir. The Prophet forbade the selling of fruits unless they get ripe, and none of them should be sold except for dinar or dirham, i.e. money, except the Araya trees, the dates of which could be sold for dates. Volume 3, Book 34, number 395. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet allowed the sale of the dates of Araya provided they were about 5 awsaq, singular, wasak, which means 60 sars, or less, in amount. Volume 3, Book 34, number 396. Narrated by Sa'al bin Abu Hathma. Allah's Apostle forbade the selling of fruits, fresh dates, for dried dates, but allowed the sale of fruits on the Araya by estimation, and their new owners might eat their dates fresh. Sufyan, in another narration, said, I told Yahya, a sub-narrator, when I was a mere boy, Meccans say that the Prophet allowed him the sale of the fruits on Araya by estimation. Yahya asked, how do the Meccans know about it? I replied, they narrated it, from the Prophet, through Jabir. On that, Yahya kept quiet. Sufyan said, I meant that Jabir belonged to Medina. Sufyan was asked whether in Jabir's narration there was any prohibition of selling fruits before their benefit is evident, i.e. no dangers of being spoilt or blighted. He replied that there was none. Volume 3, Book 34, number 397. Narrated by Ibn Umar from Zayd bin Thabit. Allah's apostle allowed the sale of a raya by estimating the dates on them for measured amounts of dried dates. Musa bin Uqba said, Al-Araya would distinguish date palms. One could come and buy them, i.e. their fruits. Volume 3, Book 34, number 398. Narrated by Zayd. Same as above. Hadith 397. Volume 3, Book 34, number 399. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's apostle forbade the sale of fruits till their benefit is evident. He forbade both the seller and the buyer such sale. Volume 3, Book 34, number 400. Narrated by Anas. Allah's apostle forbade the sale of date fruits till they were ripe. Abu Abdullah al-Bukhari said, that means till they were red, can be eaten. Volume 3, Book 34, number 401. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet forbade the of date fruits till they were red or yellow and fit for eating. Volume 3, Book 34, number 402. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet forbade the sale of fruits till their benefit is evident, and the sale of date palms till the dates are almost ripe. He was asked what are almost ripe meant. He replied, got red and yellow. Volume 3, Book 34, number 403. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. Allah's apostle forbade the sale of fruits till they are almost ripe. He was asked what is meant by are almost ripe. He replied, till they become red. Allah's apostle further said, if Allah spoiled the fruits, what right would one have to take the money of one's brother, i.e. other people? Narrated Ibn Shihab. If somebody bought fruits before their benefit is evident and then the fruits were spoiled with blights, the loss would be suffered by the owner, not the buyer. Narrated Salim bin Abdullah from Ibn Umar. Allah's apostle said, do not sell or buy fruits before their benefit was evident, and do not sell fresh fruits, dates, for dried dates. Volume 3, Book 34, number 404. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet bought some foodstuff from a Jew on credit and mortgaged his armor to him. Volume 3, Book 34, number 405. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle appointed somebody as a governor of Khaybar. That governor brought to him an excellent kind of dates, from Khaybar. The Prophet asked, are all the dates of Khaybar like this? He replied, by Allah, no, O Allah's apostle. But we barter 1 SA of this type of dates for 2 SAs of dates of ours and 2 SAs of it for 3 of ours. Allah's apostle said, do not do so, as that is a kind of usury, but sell the mixed dates, of inferior quality, for money, and then buy good dates with that money. Volume 3, Book 34, number 406. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's apostle said, if somebody sells pollinated date palms, the fruits will be for the seller unless the buyer stipulates that they will be for himself, and the seller agrees.